All right, we are live. Welcome to Big D After Dark in this new new season, Major League Soccer season 2020. We're excited for you to join us, and I hope you folks who watch us on Facebook kind of make your way over here and check out the new venue here on YouTube. We'll be adding more videos and things like that, and be able to take these things and even plug them in on the Big D Soccer website in the future. And we're joined again by our regular crew. I'm Nathan Hill. You can follow me at Nathan J Hill on Twitter. There's Ben Lyon there at Bird Turgler. And finally, Jose Carmona, El Chico Carmona. Please follow us on Twitter. Post your questions. Talk to us as we enjoy this season. It's going to be a great season, and we got a great show for you tonight. So, let's just get right into it. Hey, opening weekend, FC Dallas welcomed Philadelphia Union, and it was a tidy 2-0 win. Certainly some rust, certainly some growing opportunities, some things to learn. But this is what you want: 3 points, 2 great goals, and the season is underway. All right, so let's talk about it. First, just give us a quick Ben and Jose. Just give me a quick like 1 or 2 sentences about this game.
Second half was great. I missed the first half, but enjoyed the 2 goals that they scored in the second half. Honestly, it looked like Philly's pressure was giving them some challenges during the course of the game. But nice goal by Cobra, like a powerhouse goal from him. Really, kind of opened it up and put them in a place where they could close out the game fairly comfortably. This is a good start to the season.
Yeah, I think for us optimistic types, it's that we're hoping that FC Dallas would pick up right where they left off at the end of last season. That's exactly what we got. I mean, not in the first half, mind you, but in the second half, you wanted to see if Cobra would simply keep scoring, and he did. You want to see if Paxton would start going back to that, superstar in the making, and we did. We wanted to see if the defense was going to be solid at home, if Dallas was going to be able to close the show at home, and we got everything we wanted to see. And we even got a 18-year-old making his debut, which is exactly what we got last year. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. And look, there were 2 great goals in the game. Really, Andresic's goal was one of the favorite. I've looked at some of the others from the weekend. There's some other good goals, but I loved it. I just loved. It was really something out of nothing, and that was a great sign for him, his confidence level. And then Paxton, too, you could tell just that felt so good for Paxton after dealing with injuries and stuff to come back on and make that run. This game also saw the debut of 3 new faces, although one of those isn't so new, familiar with the organization, but we have, of course, Thiago Santos, big signing in the midfield. And we had also next to him Tanner Tessman being signed right before the weekend from North Texas, turning down a scholarship offer to go kick the ball for Clemson, and then God, what a story that is. And then of course Fafa Picault, picked up from Philly, right? Did he come from or the Crew?
That's right, Union
From
Philadelphia.
Yeah,
revenge game.
Yep.
Yeah. So kind of interesting stories. All of those guys. So we had 3 debuts. So how would you rate these guys? Who had the strongest game? Did you?
All right. So I want to say that all 3 had strong games, and you got to look at it this way. Everyone knows what Fafa brings. I mean, he's a known quantity within MLS, so I don't think anyone's surprised that he had a solid showing against, and he would be motivated against his old team. Santos was a person that most of us FCD fans were high on, but probably a lot of MLS fans were probably skeptical about. This is a guy that has a solid reputation coming in, and he looked it. I mean, he looked dominant out there. And then I think Tanner is the big surprise to everybody. I think outside of Dallas, everyone's like, "Oh, hey, they signed this kid 2 days ago, and he starts." In Dallas, he's no surprise. I think when we found out that he was starting, most FC Dallas fans got really excited that Tanner would be on the field starting day one.
Yeah.
And let's put it into context where that is. Your normal starter at that 8 spot would have been Acosta, and if he's not available, then it's Cervinia, and then probably Paxton if he's healthy. So you're looking at Tesman's probably fourth in line, and he jumps in, and I mean, and the team doesn't miss a beat. I mean, he struggled some in the first half, but once he got into the game in the second half, it was just great to see. And I think I was impressed with all three of them. I think I just give the edge to Santos over Tanner because Santos was consistent from beginning to end, and that's why where Tanner basically kind of worked his way into the game, and he was playing great at the end of the game. But I like the guy in the middle. If he's going to be the single pivot to basically be dominant from end to end the entire match, and Santos delivered.
Ben, your takeaway from the three debuts? Anything you want to
add? Santos obviously is going to be huge this year, and had a feeling he would be coming in, and it just kind of unlocks what the team can do as ideally engineered, which was really lost whenever Grueso moved to Augsburg last summer transfer window, which the team wasn't going to make him stay or anything, but there wasn't a ready-made replacement. Cerrillo wasn't ready yet. And, they adapted pretty well without it, but just having that fulcrum there is gonna make a huge difference over the course of the season. And of course, they're so deep that they're going to be able to rotate players. No question about it. Kind of wonder who's going to actually end up starting or playing 30 games this year, because I think there'll be enough rotation where you probably will see a lighter loaded and fresher team come playoff time.
That's a good bit to add to this story, because Tesman was a really interesting wrinkle that to this season, that we sort of thought the roster was pretty much cooked. We thought the youth signings had been made, and so it seemed like Tesman was sort of a break glass emergency signing. You could see him spending time with North Texas again, and he probably will. But then the way he plays, you kind of go, well, maybe there's method to this madness. Maybe maybe this was a little bit of emergency depth signing kind of thing. But man, especially the second half, it seemed he grew in confidence a bit. And I love the layoff, the whole sequence of Paxton leading to Paxton's goals, starting from just the little layoffs and his run way deep up the field, getting into position, just a lot of savvy from the kid. You just love that. And of course, Dabo Sweeney, the head coach, wants to, saying this kid is a great athlete, could play any kind of sport he wants. And so who knows? Who knows where this season can go? I mean, that's just where we are with this team. And so here's my question. The follow-up question out of this then is, who starts in the midfield this coming weekend?
Go ahead,
I mean, I will have to imagine that they probably run out something similar to what they did on opening day. Possibly they roll in that 3-5-2 again that they ran after they took the lead, but I imagine they will run their base and try and press the issue on Montreal early. So yeah, I mean, the first group played together pretty well. They'll probably start out again against Montreal.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, the the midfield pairing for this match. I mean, I think they were pretty dominant. I mean, and let's face it, they were outnumbered by that diamond that Philadelphia uses, and still they dominated. They bossed the midfield, and I don't think you want to change that. I think you roll out the same three in the midfield. Um, the only thing you might see different is maybe Paxton comes on a lot earlier. Now they'll be a little bit healthier. Uh, because I think that's why they waited so long to bring him in, and he comes in, and I mean, it was a shot of adrenaline to the arm,
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so I think that's the only thing I can see different is you'll see if there's anything like it was in the first half, you bring Paxton on earlier, but other than that, I expect the same starting lineup.
Well, Shay is watching. Shay Galvin, thanks for watching, Shay. We love the support. He writes, it bothers me that Paxton and Jesus are now fighting for the same spot. Not good for their growth. And, of course, we talk sportsisms, and we talk about, like, fighting for every spot. So there will be a good sense that both Paxton and Jesus are going to have to elevate their game each and every week in practice to get on the field. But on the other hand, this team for once has depth, and what a gift that is. So, if Jesus starts off the bench, if he comes in later in the game, or Paxton, I mean, what a great option for this team to have going down the stretch of the season. Are they fighting for the same spot?
I think so. I think they are, but considering that Paxton isn't 100%, I don't think that's such a bad thing. And then by the time that Paxton is fully fit, ready to go, the 90, it's going to time for him to go, help the Olympic team. So I don't think that's going to be much of an issue, at least not in the first half of the season. We'll see down the stretch, but that's what you want. You want these young players fighting day after day for the right to be the starter, pushing each other, and it's going to be great for Dallas, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shay says he agrees, just wish they were both competing against veterans.
They are the veterans on this team. On this team, let's face it. This team, I mean, what are they, like 23-year average, I think, just under 24. Look how long they've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're expected to be, at that age, 19, 18, you're pretty much expected to be considered a veteran by FC Dallas standards, in all honesty.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's both their third years as pros, basically. I mean, I know they've signed contracts well before then, even, but yeah, I mean, they've each had professional games in 2017, or excuse me, 2018 and 2019, and this is year number 3 for both of them. So,
well, and here's the thing is this is not a common thing in MLS, but outside of MLS and a lot of your bigger leagues, that is very common. By the time a kid's 19, 20, you already know they're already veterans. They've already had tons of starts, maybe not with their senior team, but on loan or whatever. But they've had tons of starts, and I love that Dallas is embracing that model.
It's exciting. I do recommend everybody to check out Jason Poon, our buddy Jason Poon's latest piece on BigDSoccer.com. His Chalkboard series, which is always a great read, all about Tessman's his debut, what he got to do over the field. Of course, has some great charts and stats and things to consider. So, highly recommend that if you want to kind of a deep dive into what some of these young players are coming in and doing and what they seem to offer the team. And I do think the flavor that we're all watching for this season and the depth that helps too is with the Olympics coming up, and with Jesus likely, he almost had a goal Saturday. You have now, Paxton. If Paxton's going to be like this on fire, there's no way he's not getting called up, or even more to senior team level stuff. Reggie's in the mix there too. You just got a lot of of minutes that this team's going to have to dig deep over the stretch of the summer and everything like that. Well, it's great. Our show's going to be a little shorter tonight, just as we kind of get going. So, but feel free to keep sending in questions for a bit. I'm going to switch gears just for a minute here to a little touch base back in the last season, a little FC Dallas moment.
Flicked along, Cannon, the overhead clearance.
This
There's
moment,
the time for Dallas to come the other way. Barrios from Acosta get retarded. Roldan's the only man back. Mosquera's on the near side.
You got to square the ball.
Acosta who puts it in the stand.
Come on, man.
He just was
Square the ball.
looking for an
Come on, man.
Square the ball, buddy. Square the ball. Oh man, a little moment to remind us where we left last season. Oh, that could have been it. That could have been the winner over the eventual.
Just right there, one time it.
Just one time it, man. Lord have mercy. Oh, yeah. So Brian Acosta's another guy that we'll I don't know when we're gonna see him. He's probably still a few weeks out, I'm sure, but it's gonna be interesting to see how he comes in the mix with Santos there, who I was also impressed with. A little stat to be concerned about. Is it something to be concerned about? Was that Philadelphia did outshoot FC Dallas. I think the stat was 15-7. But most of those, of course, were not on goal. They were off target. A little wild. But that Philadelphia press gave FC Dallas some fits.
My comments on that is simple. I've actually checked out what Philadelphia fans are saying about it, and they'll tell you they didn't actually ever really threaten Dallas. Yeah, they did a lot of shots, but they were poor quality shots. Nothing that made you think that Dallas was ever actually in trouble. I mean, that's all the conversation in Philadelphia was following the game is wow, our attack is horrible. This and that. They were just going on about all the guys that they got rid of. And that has to go. You got to give credit to Hedges, to Rito. I mean, those guys, the back four, and Santos from. They didn't shut out Philadelphia, but they disrupted them. To the point where you never really saw Philadelphia, despite all the shots, they never got into rhythm. What do you think, Ben?
So, yeah, like I pulled up the stats while we were talking here. 15-9, but shots actually on goal that forced a save at least, or a shot that didn't get saved. It was 5-3. Jesse Gonzalez had 3 saves. Andre Blake had 3 saves. He also had 2 that he did not save. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, like most of Dallas's shots were quality shots. They had 2 really good opportunities in the box that Blake either had to come up huge to save or Jesus just missed for some reason. He probably would want that one back.
He looked like he'd be pressing a little.
Yeah, in the first half he had a pretty good chance on goal and
that was a good one.
Kind of skewed it right.
Well, Ryan, face Ryan, thanks for watching. I love the name. Let me try to get the right one up here. He says, I don't know. He says my butthole clenched at least 3 times during the game. You should probably get that checked out. By the way, Ryan. But Jesse had 1 badass save in the second half. Can't forget that. And I think that was probably the kick save. That was a really dangerous opportunity for Philly, sort of on the run.
Oh yeah.
That he got in there, and that's vintage Jesse. It's why you love the guy. God. There were some moments the shots were decent, but they went right to Jesse, and I think he was able to sort of cradle him and take care of him. Maybe not. Maybe they weren't full force, but they weren't as zippy as they could have been, but or with enough power. But there were just some moments that sort of the turnovers in the midfield that were just challenged. I think Jason points that out, that there were just some moments where they gave the ball up a little too easy. And you don't like to see that against a pressing team. It gives a blueprint for other teams to sort of wreak havoc. But I think with you're starting a guy you just signed to the senior team, you're going to expect some of that. I mean, I don't think giving up a goal would have been out of the question for your first home game of the season. You know, I just don't. So.
Can I make a big quick comment on that?
Sure.
On Testament, by the way, I just want to point out that similar to last year when Cirillo came in as 18-year-old and started, the big difference is Testament isn't an unknown quality. Here's a kid who, unlike Cirillo, he got 15 starts for North Texas SC, and that's where you're seeing the benefit of. We've saw him play against professional players, not at MLS level, but also higher than the academy, and so I think a lot of us were a lot more comfortable seeing Testament out there saying, yeah, this kid has balled out at the USL League One level, and we were confident that he would at least be solid. You know, I think he performed better than we expected, but at the same time, we were all pretty excited, and that's because of North Texas SC. We're no longer getting these kids that like Cirillo, where we're like, wow, where did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
We knew where Testament came from, and I think going forward, every time you get that surprise starting, these kids will at least have played professional minutes at the USL League One level.
Right. You have a substantially more reason to be confident that they will at least have had that experience. So it's not going to be totally off the chain putting them in against pros a league up.
Well, Ben, what were your thoughts about the 3-5-2 that we saw for a bit there in the second half?
I mean, when they switched into that mode, I mean, other than the Shabilko shot, which came pretty close to around then, I think. Other than that, I mean, they looked like they pretty much were comfortable in it and controlled the end of the game. I mean, so I mean that's good that they have that club in their bag now. I'm guessing that they feel comfortable and confident enough with it that you're gonna see more of that.
I think we've all said that in preseason and in this game, where we feel like in the 3-5-2, there's certain teams that those back three are going to have fits against, but Philadelphia wasn't one of them, and this shows you that there are some teams that Dallas will be able to roll out that 3-5-2 against, where they'll just be perfectly comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe they don't roll it out against the elites in MLS, but there's plenty of teams below that level that Dallas can have great success with that 3-5-2, and I think that's good to see. Good to see that there's a plan B.
I mean, Philly is roundly considered a surefire playoff team this year. I mean,
they are. They're solid, but
chumps.
No, they're not. But at the same time, they're not considered an offensive juggernaut. And I think against teams that by the time that Dallas goes to a 3-5-2, they got a good measure of whether this team is going to be able to threaten them in that formation or not.
That's a great point. And I like the 3-5-2 just from managerial long-term standpoint of even figuring out a way to get Bresson more minutes. You see he's adjusted to the league. Kind of, is he going to be ready to step in for Redo if Redo struggles any, or if this team's going to need to be ready. And I think more than likely Bresson is the guy in the future who may pair with Hedges over the next few years, but you just don't know. And so I just like it, and I like that Bresson almost had a goal there himself, had a decent opportunity.
Yep.
And the energy he brings off the bench, that'll be a nice wrinkle to add. So yeah, and I'm liking the 3-5-2 also because of this idea that of Mikey. Mikey might miss some games here and there. He might need a rest here and there, and you turn to that 3-5-2 gives you a different way to use your wingers or to use some options, and lets Reggie and Ryan kind of bomb forward a little bit. And so there's just a lot of scenarios that gives that team a little flexibility. So it's going to be exciting to see over the course of the season kind of what they do with it. What teams they deploy it against Yeah, so it's a lot of good possibilities there. So, real quick, shifting Ben and then Jose, starting with you, Ben. We talked about this. We had our season sort of expectations on the website. Ben, where are you thinking this team is going to end up at the end of the season?
Supporter Shield, MLS Cup champions,
Nice.
U.S. Open Cup champions.
Nice.
Yeah, they're gonna get the triple. They're gonna do it all, win it all, and blow everybody away this year.
I'm on board. I'm ready for that train ride, man. I'm ready for that.
Realistically, I think the U.S. Open Cup is a realistic goal considering the depth that this team has. I believe this team is built because of we're deep at every spot, especially in midfield. This team is built to grind out points, and I think I want to say they're going to challenge for the Shield, but in reality, all those players that we're going to be missing for Olympics and for national team call-ups and whatnot, I think that'll prevent us from taking that. But I'm okay with that because I think this team is built to because of their youth and the players we're getting Hara and Summer. I think this team is built to basically peak at the end of the year and still be they'll have a shot to host a playoff match. That's for sure. And I just want to add one more thing. That goal out of nowhere from Cobra, we needed to see that because the question is who's that guy that can generate something out of nothing? And seeing Cobra do that in this match, I think that gives us hope that hey, he's not the only one. Paxton came in, generated something out of nothing. We want to see that because those are the kind of players that'll get you that MLS Cup. You got to be able to score those goals in the playoffs when nothing's happening.
That's right. Good point. Yeah. And yeah,
picked up right where he left off last year.
He's ready.
Excellent.
And Yara. I think we know it may be hard for him to adjust a little bit. We don't know what impact he'll have, but if he can just come in and just 3 or 4 goals over a few games, that's that grind part of the season where one goal can mean a point, one goal can mean 3 points, and that's what might be what we need, So it's exciting. It's exciting to see what this team could do.
I'm salivating at the possibility of a 3-5-2 at the end of the season with Cobra and Hara, both up top. I mean,
gosh,
imagine that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, good. Well, I'm on board with that too. I mean, I write in my little part of it was that this is MLS Cup or bust year just because of the depth of the team, the veterans. Because next year we might see a new defense if Reggie leaves, if Redo leaves. We can see a lot of turnover in key parts of the team. If Paxton leaves, who knows if Jesus. There's a lot of scenarios if this team has a strong year. So I'm just like, let's do this. Let's get this done. Let's get that late season run. They have the depth to do it, and I still want to see what happens in that left wing spot. If Pakal, if he really lives up to the billing, if Mascaro can come on, Mascara, and we'll see. It'll be one of those stories to watch.
Just one quick thing to add. Shay was saying how the 3-5-2 didn't work under Oscar, and I just want to say to that under Oscar was more of a 5-3-2, with dual defensive mids. It was strictly a defensive formation with possibility of countering over the top. That's not the same thing under Lucci. Under Lucci, it's very much a pressing, attacking style, and it's a huge difference in the way they're played.
No doubt, Ryan and Reggie are basically like it almost plays like a 3-4-3 sometimes, depending on where, if one of the forwards dips back deeper into the midfield.
Sounds good. It's something to look forward to. Kind of checking out. And we really appreciate everyone who's posted in the comments. Thanks for watching. We switched over to the new venue here over at YouTube. Still getting the channel sort of set up. we'll do some other little things with it and try to kind of even embed these on the bigdsoccer.com website. Do check it out for all the articles, feedback this week. Fantasy League, Ben will be doing some fantasy write-ups, I'm sure. Maybe. Well, all right. Well, he is. You're doing the fantasy league again, right, Ben?
Yeah. But what I will be doing is I will be posting gambling picks,
Okay.
MLS gambling, like I did last year. Those will be in
Nice.
the fan posts,
Nice.
and we're off to a bad start. But I'll do it all week, and you'll get to track and see how badly I do.
Okay. And Jose will be writing some player ratings again for each game, and I'll be doing my workhorse of the week poll, which will get started, here pretty shortly.
I'll also be keeping tabs of all the loanies that are loaned out to other teams outside of North Texas SC, because we're going to have a lot of those this year.
Yeah, Montgomery, Atuini, Twomasi already. It's exciting. So there'll be a lot of news, and of course, North Texas Soccer will be revving up here pretty soon too, and there'll be some exciting things to see. Some of the youngins get some minutes there. So thanks for joining us. Hit subscribe on the channel. We'll be trying to post these live stream links ahead of time so that you can watch for it, set an alarm, and be here live. All right, so we're going to call it a night there, but before we go, I'm going to show you a blast from the past clip of some of the core values of this FC Dallas franchise, instilled by none other than the legend himself, Schillis Heinemann. Good night, everybody.
The first thought that went through my mind, the first strike I took was, oh, please don't let me die.
But these guys don't die. They don't even get hurt.
Here it comes.
When you stand up
Here he
and
is.
get ready to take a blow, you have the confidence that you can accept the blow.
There he is.
That's
The
a point of
legend.
interest.
All right, good night, everybody.